Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Janma karma cha me divyam. Evam yo veti tattvataha. Tyaktva deham punarjanma. Neti mameti sorjuna. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. One who knows the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving the body, take his birth again in this material world, but attains my eternal abode, O Arjuna. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The Lord's descent from His transcendental abode is already explained in the 6th verse. One who can understand the truth of the appearance of the personality of Godhead is already liberated from material bondage, and therefore he returns to the kingdom of God immediately after quitting this present material body. Such liberation of the living entity from material bondage is not at all easy. The impersonalists and the yogis attain liberation only after much trouble and many births. Even then, the liberation they achieve, merging into the impersonal Brahma Jyoti of the Lord, is only partial, and there is the risk of returning again to this material world. But the devotee, simply by understanding the transcendental nature of the body and activities of the Lord, attains the abode of the Lord after ending this body, and does not run the risk of returning again to this material world. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated that the Lord has many forms and incarnations. Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. Although there are many transcendental forms of the Lord, they are still one and the same, Supreme Personality of Godhead. One has to understand this fact with conviction, although it is incomprehensible to mundane scholars and empiric philosophers. As stated in the Vedas, Eko Devo Nitya Leelanurakto Bhaktavyapi Hridyantaratma. The one Supreme Personality of Godhead is eternally engaged in many transcendental forms in relationships with His unalloyed devotees. This Vedic version is confirmed in this verse of the Gita personally by the Lord. He who accepts this truth on the strength of the authority of the Vedas and of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who does not waste time in philosophical speculations, attains the highest perfectional stage of liberation. Simply by accepting this truth on faith, one can without a doubt attain liberation. The Vedic version, Tattvamasi, is actually applied in this case. Anyone who understands Lord Krishna to be the Supreme, or who says unto the Lord, "You are the same Supreme Brahman, the Personality of Godhead," is certainly liberated instantly, and consequently his entrance into the transcendental association of the Lord is guaranteed. In other words, such a faithful devotee of the Lord attains perfection, and this is confirmed by the following Vedic assertion. Tameva viditvatim mrityumeti nanyah panta vidyate ayanaya. One can attain the perfect stage of liberation from birth and death simply by knowing the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There is no alternative, because anyone who does not understand Lord Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead is surely in the mode of ignorance. Consequently, he will not attain salvation simply, so to speak, by licking the outer surface of the bottle of honey, or by interpreting the Bhagavad Gita according to mundane scholarship. Such empiric philosophers may assume very important roles in the material world, but they are not necessarily eligible for liberation. Such puffed up mundane scholars have to wait for the causeless mercy of the devotee of the Lord. One should therefore cultivate Krishna consciousness with faith and knowledge, and in this way attain perfection. Thus ends the Bhaktivedanta purport.
But forgetting his real position, he is loitering in the street, hungry. You can call him, all right, you take some food. That is not real benefit, that is temporary. But if you awaken his real consciousness that he is the son of a very rich man, his father has got immense property, why don't you go back to your father and be happy? That is Krishna consciousness movement. That is stated here. Janma karma chame dibbam veti tattvato. One has to understand Krishna tattvato in truth, not superficially. What is Krishna? Krishna is the supreme leader. Nitya Nityanam Chetana Chetananam. Supreme leader, perfect leader, without any mistake, without any illusion, without any cheating, and without any imperfection of the senses. We have to take direction from such leader, then our life will be successful. And because we are taking direction from imperfect leaders, cheater leaders, therefore we are meeting with so many problems. Krishna says that Jada jada hi dharmasya glani bhavati bharat tadatmanam srijamaha. That I have already explained. What is that glani? The glani is when we forget Krishna, then our activities become polluted. Just like a servant, if he forgets that there is master, then he becomes polluted. He steals, he mismanages things, things become very disordered. But if he has got this sense that I have got my master, everything belongs to my master, and he acts accordingly, that is very nice. So, we do not know what is the constitutional position of Krishna and what is my constitutional position. That is called Sambandha Gyan, my relationship with Krishna. Every one of us has got a relationship. Krishna says in the 15th chapter, Mamaivangsha Jiva Bhuta. Just like sons are part and parcel of the father, father body extends as son and daughter. Similarly, we are also expansion of Krishna's body. We are Bibhinnangsha. Krishna expands in two ways, Sangsha and Bibhinnangsha. The Bibhinnangsha expansion we are living entities. But because we have forgotten Krishna, we have come to enjoy this material world, we are becoming infected with the modes of material nature and accepting different types of body, 8,400,000 species of life. But somehow or other, if we come in contact with Krishna, by the mercy of Krishna's confidential devotees, then our life becomes success. That is described here. Tattadvihang punarjanmanaiti. Then this transmigration of the soul stops. Tattadvihang punarjanmanaiti. Punarjanmanaiti does not mean that soul is finished. No. This body, material body, na hannate hannamane sarire. This material body, when it is dissolved, panchattang prapta, mixes with these five elements, earth, water, fire, air, it does not mean that the soul is finished. The soul is there. The soul is migrating to another body. Karmana daivanatrena, by the supervision of the external energy and superior superintendent, we are transferred to a different body. By the subtle body, monobuddhi ahankar. But these foolish people, they do not know how the soul, they do not know what is soul and how the soul is being transferred. But these things are all explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Just like we cannot see the flavor, but when the flavor passes through, carried by the air, we can smell. Similarly, we can smell how the soul is being transferred. These processes are explained in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, our duty is to know Krishna. Janma karma. Krishna comes. Krishna appears. Krishna disappears. Why Krishna comes? Why Krishna is not seen? Janma karma. Why he acts? Why he takes part in the battlefield of Kurukshetra? Why he teaches Arjuna? Why he dances with the gopis? So many things, Krishna's life. We have read Krishna book. There are so many activities. They are all transcendental. Although they are written just like ordinary story activities of a person. But they are not ordinary things. If you simply read Krishna book, although it looks like story, then you become delivered from these clutches of repetition of birth and death. It is so nice. Because you will understand Krishna, what is Krishna, and here it is said, Janma karma me dibbam jujanati tattva. It is explained. The people who are reading Krishna book very seriously and tries to understand Krishna, he will understand. Krishna is very kind. As soon as you begin reading Krishna book with little faith and adherence, Krishna will be very much pleased. Sinnatang sakata Krishna punnasavana kirtana. As soon as Krishna is within your heart, so when you read Bhagavad Gita or Krishna book with little seriousness, then Krishna understands. Now he is serious to understand me. He is within. You haven't got to search out Krishna. He is already within you. Simply you have to become little serious. Krishna, kindly give me knowledge so that I can understand. Buddhi yogam dadamitam. If you are serious, devotee, if you are in love with Krishna, tesam satadujuktanang bhajatang priti purvak. If you are engaged in his worshipping, in chanting, manmana bhava mad bhakto mad jajimang namaskuru, if you simply follow these four principles, simply thinking of Krishna, simply, always, sabai mana Krishna padaravinda, simply meditate. This is meditation. Meditation means just you see the form of Krishna, and whenever you go, the impression of the form will be within your eyes, and if you think of Krishna, your life is successful. Therefore, the deity of Krishna should be seen. That is the benefit of the eyes. The ears should be engaged hearing about Krishna. The tongue should be engaged for eating Krishna's remnants of food, prasadam. The nose should be engaged for smelling the flower which is offered to Krishna or the tulsi. In this way, when you engage all your senses, the legs should be utilized for coming to this temple to see Krishna, not to going to the cinema rascal. Then your life will be successful. You will understand Krishna. Krishna is very kind. He says, Tesam satatujuktana. If you engage all your senses for understanding Krishna with devotion and faith, priti purvakam, with love. The love is the basic principle of understanding Krishna. But you will develop your love. The love means, just like it is said, dadati pratiginnati. You are coming into the temple, if you give something, patram puspam phalam tuyam, little things, Krishna, I have brought it. I could not bring any very costly thing, but I have collected this patram pushpam phalam. Krishna is pleased. Tadhang asnami. Krishna says, patram pushpam phalam toyam jumi bhakta prajachyati. Taya bhaktya ubritam asnami. Because he has brought it. Krishna is not beggar. Krishna can create millions of fruits and flowers. He is Atmaram. He is fully satisfied in himself. He is so opulent. But he wants that you should also love Krishna and give him something. That he wants. Therefore he comes. Paritrana sadhuna. Therefore he comes. He is not poor. Krishna is all opulent. Lakshmi sahasra sata sambrama sevamanam. He is always being worshipped by many hundreds and thousands of goddess of fortune. Here we worship goddess Lakshmi, goddess of fortune. Mother, give me some money. And that also does not stay. Lakshmi's another name is Chanchola. Sometimes he favors and goes out. But Krishna is so opulent that millions of goddess of fortune are engaged in his service. So why he is asking you, patram pushpam phalam tuyam. He is asking out of love that you try to love me. If you are so poor, you cannot give me anything. All right, give me little flower, little fruit. I will be satisfied. Krishna is so kind. And still we are not taking the opportunity of understanding Krishna. Just see how much unfortunate we are. As you serve Krishna, you understand Krishna. You cannot understand Krishna otherwise, unless you render service. Sevanmukhi jivado sameva spurattada. Atasya Krishna namadi na bhaved grayam indriyai. If you simply exact your senses, your nice brain, Krishna is like this, Krishna is like that, but if you are not a devotee, Krishna will not reveal himself. Nahang prakasa sarvasya yoga maya samavrita. The rascal's mental speculation will not help him to understand Krishna what he is. That is not possible. His all activities are dibbam, transcendental. We cannot understand with our material blunt senses. That is not possible. Therefore the Shastra says, Atah Sri Krishna namadi na bhaved grahyam indriyai. These blunt senses, you cannot understand Krishna. Or Krishna means his name, his form, his quality, his activities, his pastimes, so many things. Janma karma. So, how Krishna will be understood there? The sevanmukhi jivhado. If you engage your tongue in his service, that is the recommendation of Vedic literature. That first of all you have to engage your tongue. Krishna's service begins from the tongue, because tongue has got two functions, namely to vibrate, to speak something, and to taste something. So you engage. You simply engage your tongue for chanting and glorifying Krishna and eat prasadam, then the two tongues business will be finished. Sevanmukhe, you eat Krishna's prasadam. Krishna baro dayamay koribare jivbhaja. Sab prasad anna dila bhai. Sei prasad anna pav Radha Krishna gunaga. Bhaktivedanta Thakur has taught. That our tongue is very fastidious, wants to eat this thing, that thing, this thing, that thing. Even after we have seen, he has eaten sumptuously at home, but as soon as he comes out, let us go to this restaurant. let us have a cup of tea, a little this or that. The tongue is always dictating. You eat this, you eat that, you eat that, you eat that. That is going on. Though if you want to control your tongue, then give him Krishna Prasadam. I will not accept anything which is not offered to Krishna. Then your tongue becomes controlled. And if you can control your tongue, your other senses will be automatically controlled. And yogic perfection means controlling the senses. Yoga indriya samyama. So, a devotee of Krishna is the first class yogi. That is accepted by Krishna. Yoginam api sarvesam madgata antaratmana sadhyavan bhajate jomang same yukta tamo. So this Krishna consciousness movement means to train people to become the topmost yogi. Topmost yogi. Because they have controlled their senses. No meat eating, no intoxication, not even smoking or drinking tea. This is yoga. Not that simply by pressing nose one becomes yoga. Practical life. After performing yoga, oh, my tongue is now dry, give me one bidi, go on me on bidi. That is not yoga practice. Smoking gaja, bidi, intoxication, tea, and he has become a yogi. These are useless, all bogus. Yoga means he has controlled his senses. Yoga indriya samyama. The yoga practice means controlling the senses and engaging the mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. That is yoga system. Jangam Brahma Varunanda Rudra Marutastunnanti Dibbaistavai Vedai Shanga Padakrama Upanishadai Gayanti Jangasamaga Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Passanti Jam Yogina. Dhyanavasthita, meditation, always saying the lotus feet of Krishna. Nowadays they have manufactured some meditation, something light, this, that, all nonsense. Dhyanavasthita manasa, mind being absorbed. Sabai mana Krishna padarminda. That is real yoga system. Meditation. Now this the age of meditation. Meditation is not meant for this age. Meditation is meant for the Sattva-Yuga. What is that verse? Krite jadhyato Vishnu. Krite means Sattva-Yuga. People were very restrained, all Paramahamsas. In those days it was possible to meditate. At the present moment our mind is so disturbed. We are disturbed in so many ways. Meditation is not possible in this age. Maybe there may be one or two persons who can meditate. The real meditation means to think of Krishna. Manmana bhavavad bhakta. Madhyajimang namaskuru. That is real meditation. So in this way, if we engage our life, that means bhakti yoga, then Krishna reveals. Atasya Krishna namadi navaved grayam indriyai. If you simply speculate, tax your senses to understand Krishna by so-called scholarship, that will not help you. Sevan mukhe jivhado. You engage your tongue in the service of the Lord, then He will reveal. It is a revelation. It is not speculation. The speculators cannot understand what is Krishna. That is not possible. Those who are actually devotees, tesam satatucham, 24 hours engaged in the service of the Lord. Savanam kirtanam Vishnu smaranam padasevanam, archanam bandhanam dasam. Out of these 9 methods, all the 9 or 8, 7, 6, even 1, if you engage yourself, Just like Maharaj Parikshit. He engaged himself simply for hearing. He became perfect. Simply by hearing Bhagavat from Sukadeva Goswami. And Sukadeva Goswami also became perfect simply by reciting Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Vishnu Smarane, Savane Parikhi, Abhavad Vaya Saki Kirtane. This is also Kirtan. Abhavad Vaya Saki Kirtane. Prahlada Smarane. Prahlad Maharaj, he was put into so many difficulties by his father. He could not resist. He was a poor child, 5 years. And the rascal father was teasing him in so many ways. So what could he do? He was simply thinking, Krishna, what can I do? So there are so many processes. If you take one of the processes, your life will be successful. Simply by thinking of Krishna. Janma karma midibham. Jo janati tattva. Who can know? Jo janati tattva. To whom Krishna reveals, he can know. He can know what is Krishna. And as soon as you have done this business, you have understood Krishna, then taktadiha punarjanma naiti. No more birth in this material world. To take birth in this material, because we have got this body, therefore we have to suffer threefold miseries. We foolishly are trying to make adjustment to become happier. It is not possible, because this place is recommended by Krishna. Dukkhalayam asasatam. It is a place of miseries. How you can become happy here? This is illusion. You can never be happy in this material world. And you are trying to become happy. So many politicians, social workers, this and that, simply wasting their time. They cannot be. You have to accept the leadership of Krishna. Then you will be happy. If you accept the leadership of rascals, fools, you cannot be happy. Demons, they'll put you into difficulties. Now, just this evening, one gentleman was speaking about Ahmedabad, that students have burned so many buses, they are now uncontrollable. So this is going on all over the world. People are frustrated because on account of these rascal leaders. They are taking the position of leadership, but they are all rascals and fools. They cannot lead. If you want to be happy, accept leadership of Krishna, then you will be happy. Thank you very much.